So you like somebody, you love somebody, you live with somebody, and does knowing their Enneagram type, does it affect the way you interact with them? I think it should. Now, not everybody agrees with me, but we're going to talk about it in this video. So hang tight, this video is really important. It'll change your life. Seriously, it might change your life. Discovering the power of your Enneagram types and the people that you live with to transform your relationships. You don't want to miss this. It might save your life or your marriage or your dating relationship, or it might help. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom. I love the Enneagram. I love relationships. I love helping people figure out where they're stuck and how to improve their life and their connections. And whether we're talking about your romantic relationship or we're just talking about connecting better with your friends, the people in your life, maybe your kids, or the people you work with, I think the Enneagram can be a great tool to help us know more not only about ourselves, but also the people that we love, live with, and interact with. By the end of this video, you should have some practical tips on how to improve the relationships with the people in your life based on their personalities, based on their Enneagram types, to transform your relationships for the better. So let's get started. So you guys know what the Enneagram is, right? It's a personality profile system that basically suggests there's 9 different personality types. Now, it gets a lot more detailed and complicated than that, but that's the basic idea. There's 9 different personality types, and knowing your own type can help you improve your strengths, weaknesses, challenges, all those things, the blind spots. You can work on yourself for sure, but I think it also improves your relationships. As you understand the people in your life better, their core motivations, what creates problems for them, you can have more compassion for each other and better communication, better interactions, and overall better relationships. You know, empathy is important. And as I understand your challenges and how you're wired, your default settings, I can be more empathetic and more careful in how I interact with you. And this can improve the relationships that we have, the connections that we have, as we gain deeper insights into each other's personality type. We're going to break this down, and hopefully it will help you have better interactions with the people that you love. The first type we want to talk about is type 1. If you are in a relationship with a type 1, the perfectionist, the reformer, then you know that this person has a strong value for integrity, for responsibility, and typically has high standards. Now, sometimes a 1-wing 9 can be a little bit more relaxed than maybe a 1-wing 2, but this can be an intense person. They're not so much dominant as they are wanting people to comply with the right way of doing things. They want to comply themselves, and they want other people to comply. They can be sometimes critical or perfectionistic, judgmental, and so they are prone to having some anger issues or angry outbursts. When you see a 1 getting angry, don't lose your cool. Just recognize that that's part of what it means to be a type 1. So we want to appreciate their dedication. We want to be careful to appreciate their desire to improve things, while at the same time offering reassurance to them and compassion. And like I said, when you see them getting grouchy, grumpy, or irritated, make sure that you remain steady, even if they become a little bit volatile. Be compassionate, gracious, and respectful while you continue to forge a deep connection with this person. Okay, let's talk about type 2, the helper, the giver, the befriender, the connector. Now, this is a person that's typically strong in empathy, generosity, and support. Now, sometimes 2s, because they're such deep feeling people who have such a high capacity to love, they sometimes can get their feelings hurt if their care and concern isn't appreciated, isn't validated. And so you want to make sure that you say thank you and that you are polite and that you are kind and careful with this person. They can be overly accommodating at times, sometimes neglecting their own needs and having a hard time having boundaries with people. When they do have pain or hurt or problems, it might be hard for a 2 to negotiate the interaction to talk about that problem. 2s have a hard time experiencing their own needs and expressing their own needs. So make sure that you show appreciation, care, gratitude, thanksgiving, and Sometimes this rescuer needs you to rescue them and sit down and ask them how they're doing and how you can take care of them and help them take care of themselves. All right, we're going to talk about type 3, the achiever, the performer. And this high functioning person who's very focused on improving themselves and being the best they can be, very focused on ambition and efficiency and adaptability, can be overly sometimes focused on success and the image that they portray, or maybe even the image of their family or the image of their relationship. So they may be a little focused on the external way that you as a couple are being perceived by others more than how you're actually doing as a couple. And so celebrate their achievements, be a person that gives affirmation and admiration to them, continually build them up and encourage them, recognizing that they have a strong need for encouragement and appreciation or admiration. But at the same time, encourage them to be more authentic and to know themselves and to express their authentic selves, to take that risk to be authentic with people, and also to develop some more emotional depth and awareness. So take your time and be patient with this person, but continually to try to draw them into themselves, to how they really feel about things, and to have more bandwidth for emotional depth and emotional connections. All right, we're going to talk about type 4, the creative individualist, the dramatist. And if you're in a relationship with a 4, recognize that at times they can be very volatile. They are deep, thinking, caring people with a strong emotional core. But at times, 4s can sometimes do this push-pull dynamic in relationships where they long for connection and closeness, but fear losing themselves in the relationship. So if they react this way, you need to be careful that you remain stable, constant, and steady. Provide a strong foundation for which they can build their creativity from. So this person tends to be creative, have a lot of depth, and value authenticity. They can sometimes, be moody or be described as self-absorbed, focused on their own feelings about things and their own intuition about things. So you want to validate those emotions. When they tell you that things are not fair for them, don't correct them or try to solve all their problems. Validate them, let them know that you're there to understand and support them in their difficult times, and also encourage them to be creative in their expression. Encourage them when they step out and they do creative things. Be a person that supports that, finds value in it, and encourages them. Okay, type 5, the investigator, or sometimes called the observer. This analytical, deep thinking person who likes to see the connection between disconnected things and bring everything together and understand the world around them. They can be very insightful and sometimes very independent, which can make relationships sometimes challenging. If you're a very needy person and you need a lot of close connection, you might find it frustrating to be in a relationship with a type 5 because 5s tend to appreciate distance and space and sometimes can come across as very detached and like somebody who doesn't need a lot. So they can sometimes be withdrawn. So in this relationship, respect their need for space. When they need time alone or time to regroup, it doesn't mean that they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It just may mean that they need some time to recharge their batteries. So one of the best things you can do with a type 5 is make sure that when they do want to come out of their shell and talk about something of interest to them, is that you engage with those interests and engage with that information in an open-mannered way. And so they might appreciate a little debate, but probably they want to share their information as a way of demonstrating their care and love for you. So you got to be willing to interact with all that information. And at times you may have to remind yourself, I may not really care about the information they're talking about, but I care about this connection with them. That is the point, is to focus on the connection and realize that the information is a way of making that connection with this person. Okay, type 6, the loyalist, the guardian, the trooper. Now, this person tends to be very loyal, They tend to be somebody that stays connected to people in their lives, wants to stay connected, but may at times feel anxious and like they need to find reassurance in these connections. Like, is everything okay? It looks like you're upset. And so they may be a person that kind of taps you on the shoulder every once in a while just to make sure that everything is still okay. So they value commitment and they want to have that loyalty and commitment back from you. They can be at times a little anxious and sometimes apprehensive or indecisive. So you have to have some patience with this person. They recognize that they do sometimes overreact or tend to react to their circumstances, and they need somebody to help them talk things through. They don't often need your solutions to their problems, so be careful not to easily solve all of their issues or to get frustrated that they continually bring up problems, but just walk with them through their problems until they find a solution that they feel comfortable with. So, providing reassurance is an important way to connect with sixes, building trust through consistency and honesty. Never lie to a six. They can handle whatever is in front of them if they can see it clearly. When you are dishonest with them, then they might get the idea that you're not a person that they can really rely on or a person that they can really trust. If you've done something wrong in an interaction with a six, be the first to share that openly. Don't make them figure it out on their own. Just come right up to them and say, hey, I'm really sorry. I wasn't completely honest with you. I need to be honest with you and tell you what's going on. And I hope that you can forgive me. And chances are, that will go so much further than you trying to cover your tracks with them. It's the cover up that always gets you. So be honest and clear and supportive and allow the six some space to work through their problems and demonstrate loyalty and trust. And I think your connection is going to be great. So you love a type 7, the adventurer, the enthusiast. It's like trying to catch a monkey by the tail, right? They're fast moving. They tend to be very positive oriented people who like to be optimistic about the future and want to know, what are we going to do today? And so they want to connect often through doing fun adventures together or having fun times together. This optimism and enthusiasm and spontaneity can be infectious, but at times it can also maybe be a little bit annoying. They can be scattered sometimes in the way they interact with you and avoidant of negative emotions. If things start to get serious or heavy, you might see that 7 moving away from you. So a tip in relating to 7s is you want to help them encourage more depth to slow down, maybe process things a little bit more effectively and efficiently, explore their emotions and not to run away so fast from difficult things. But in your interactions with them, try to maintain an air of positivity. Allow them to express their ideas and their brainstorming dreams without pouring cold water on it. But then they might need some help following through to turn their big ideas into actual plans. So encourage the positivity, but also help them process sometimes the difficult conversations. You might have to be a little patient if there's conflict, and because they will probably tend to avoid that conflict that might need to happen, but needs to happen effectively. All right, when we talk about type 8, the challenger, the maverick, the independent, we're talking about somebody that, typically comes across in a relationship as very strong and decisive, but sometimes can be a little domineering and can sometimes be a little too much salt in the soup. You know what I'm saying? And they can be confrontational and controlling at times in relationships because they love you and because they want to protect you and protect the relationship and protect the truth and make sure that everything is being honest. They sometimes can be a little intense. Intensity is one of the words to describe type 8s. So I think one of the things that can help is for you to be calm, to be clear, to be able to interact in a direct way, and respond when they're giving you commands. But you don't have to always do whatever they tell you to do. But you want to show respect for their strength while at the same time encouraging them to slow down a little bit, process things, think things through, and of course, express vulnerability. It might be hard for your 8 to express things like weakness or fear or anxiety or indecision, and realize that sometimes when they're coming across and they're angry or they're, big person way, that underneath they may be covering up some feelings that normal people have, like fear or indecisiveness. So be patient. Encourage them to express that softer side of themselves, because when they do, it's amazing, right? Okay, here we are at type 9, the peacemaker. Peacemaker, great title, but sometimes when 9s are not doing so well, or they're in an environment where there's a lot of conflict and disorder, they might sort of devolve into peacekeepers, doing whatever it takes to not cause a problem, doing whatever it takes to minimize problems. 9s, they can be like a healing glue that just kind of brings everybody together, and peaceful, adaptable, and supportive at their best. At their worst, they can sometimes be lazy, indecisive, and have a hard time finding initiative to get things done. In relationships, they can be wonderful because they tend to be very compatible with people, but sometimes to the point that they minimize themselves almost to where they're not even existing in the relationship. To be clear, a relationship is two individuals together, and sometimes the 9 can forget that they are supposed to be an individual. So they can sometimes be passive and avoidant in relationships, hoping that whatever problems are going on, you'll solve it without their input and help. And they can avoid conflict to the point that conflict begins to really build up, like it loads up like a battery. And then where does it go? Well, they could just withdraw away from the relationship quietly because it feels difficult or complicated. Or they could blow up like a dormant volcano at times. So you want to encourage the 9 towards self-expression. You want to invite them to share what's going on inside, and share their opinions and validate those opinions, and remind them that they have a right to take up space. They have a right to disagree. While at the same time they work for harmony, it's okay for them to be a normal person or an individual with real needs and real opinions. So you want to try to draw that out of them by the way you interact with them. And when they sometimes have a hard time getting started, you want to be patient and compassionate with that, and try to help them process what the next steps are that need to be taken in their life. So there you have it, some beginning points, a place for you to start in your relationship with this other person. I believe that knowing the other person's Enneagram type is a great bit of information that can help you learn to relate and be more compassionate to the people that are in your life. Thinking like this could improve your connections with the people around you as you try to have the best relationships possible. So we want to focus on empathy, we want to focus on understanding, and we want to focus on growth. Embracing these principles can enhance our interactions and build stronger, more meaningful connections with each other. And that's the goal of all of this and the goal of this channel. If you found this video useful and helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. In your comments below, maybe say your type and the type of the person that you interact with, and then share what it's like. Share your struggles, your challenges. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Check out this playlist and this video if you want to keep going and learn more about yourself and the people that you love. I appreciate you, and as always, be present to life. I'll see you next time.